Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We have a massive update today, and honestly, when I first saw these numbers, I had to double-check them because they almost didn't seem real. We are talking about Elon Musk, SpaceX, billions upon billions of dollars, and a moment that is making investors around the world stop and pay attention. If you've been following the markets, you already know that Elon Musk has built some of the most valuable companies in history. But what happened recently with SpaceX is making people compare him to legendary investors like Warren Buffett in a way we've never seen before. Now, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because we have a lot to cover. Whether you're a long-term investor, a trader, or just someone fascinated by how wealth is created in today's world, this story is absolutely incredible. The numbers involved are so large that they almost sound fictional, yet they're very real, and they could completely change the conversation about modern wealth creation. For years, Warren Buffett has been considered one of the greatest investors of all time. The Oracle of Omaha built Berkshire Hathaway into a powerhouse and turned a relatively small amount of capital into a fortune worth well over $100 billion. His success came through patience, discipline, understanding business fundamentals, and making smart long-term decisions. Many investors, including myself, have looked at Buffett's career as the gold standard of wealth creation. But then Elon Musk came along and decided to play an entirely different game. While Buffett built his fortune over decades through investments and business acquisitions, Elon Musk built companies that transformed entire industries. From electric vehicles to reusable rockets, Musk has consistently focused on projects that most people considered impossible. And now, thanks to SpaceX, he is reaching financial milestones that many experts once believed could never happen. Here's the shocking part. Recent developments surrounding SpaceX resulted in Elon Musk adding an astonishing amount of wealth in an incredibly short period of time. We're talking about gains so large that they exceed what most billionaires could make in multiple lifetimes. The scale of these numbers has reignited discussions about whether Musk is creating wealth at a pace that no individual in modern history has ever achieved before. What makes this even more fascinating is that SpaceX is no longer being viewed as simply a rocket company. Investors increasingly see it as a technology platform, a communications giant, a satellite network operator, and potentially one of the most important infrastructure companies on the planet. The company's influence stretches across multiple industries, which is why so many analysts believe its growth story is still in the early stages. One of the major reasons investors remain excited about SpaceX is its long-term vision. The company isn't simply launching rockets. It's building systems designed to reshape communication, transportation, and even humanity's future beyond Earth. Whether you agree with those goals or not, investors are assigning tremendous value to that vision. They believe SpaceX could generate revenue streams that extend far beyond what traditional aerospace companies have ever achieved. The conversation becomes even more interesting when you start looking at future performance incentives. Reports suggest that additional performance-based share awards could become available if certain valuation targets and company milestones are reached. These incentives are tied to ambitious objectives, and while they may sound extreme today, many people have learned not to underestimate Elon Musk's ability to execute long-term plans. At the same time, investors need to remember that extraordinary gains often come with extraordinary volatility. When a company experiences a massive valuation increase in a short period of time, profit-taking becomes a natural part of the process. Early investors, employees, and insiders who have waited years for liquidity often see opportunities to secure life-changing profits. That reality can create significant short-term fluctuations even when the long-term outlook remains positive. This is where many traders are focusing their attention right now. Some investors are celebrating the recent gains and locking in profits, while others are positioning themselves for future growth. There is a constant battle between short-term traders looking to capitalize on momentum and long-term believers who view every pullback as an opportunity to accumulate shares. Another factor attracting attention is the upcoming lockup periods. Historically, many IPOs and newly traded companies experience increased selling pressure when lockup restrictions expire. Early investors gain the ability to sell shares, which can temporarily increase supply and create downward pressure on the stock price. This doesn't necessarily mean the company is weak. It simply reflects the reality that many early stakeholders want access to liquidity after years of waiting. For investors watching SpaceX closely, understanding these mechanics is critical. The company's long-term potential may remain extraordinary, but short-term price movements can still be heavily influenced by technical factors, profit-taking, and broader market sentiment. Smart investors understand the difference between short-term volatility and long-term business fundamentals. What has impressed many market participants is how resilient investor enthusiasm has remained despite these concerns. Every time questions emerge about valuation, competition, or execution risks, supporters point to the company's track record. They argue that SpaceX has consistently achieved milestones that critics once claimed were impossible. That history creates a level of confidence that few companies enjoy. At the broader market level, geopolitical developments continue influencing investor sentiment. Global economic conditions, energy prices, interest rates, and international agreements all play a role in determining how much risk investors are willing to take. Even a company as dominant as SpaceX does not operate in a vacuum. Market conditions can amplify gains during good times and increase volatility during periods of uncertainty. Perhaps the most remarkable takeaway from all of this is the speed at which wealth can be created in today's innovation-driven economy. Previous generations built fortunes through railroads, oil, manufacturing, and banking. Today's wealth creators are building companies around software, artificial intelligence, communications networks, and space technology. SpaceX sits directly at the center of that transformation. As investors look toward the future, one question continues to dominate discussions. How large can SpaceX actually become? Some analysts believe current valuations only scratch the surface of its potential, while others argue expectations may already be running ahead of reality. Regardless of where you stand, it's impossible to deny that SpaceX has become one of the most important companies in the world and one of the most closely watched investment stories of our generation. Whether you're taking profits, adding to positions, or simply watching from the sidelines, this story is far from over. The next few months will bring earnings updates, lockup expirations, market reactions, and potentially major developments that could influence the company's trajectory. One thing is certain, investors everywhere will be paying attention. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we'll continue bringing you the latest updates as this incredible story unfolds.